Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everybody. I hope you always in good health. Before we are going to the topic video, let me introduce myself before. My name is Muhammad Ali Arieful Fikri and you can call me Arif. I'm from 5E class in English Education Department of Winterscadio. In this video, I would like to tell you all about analyzing and interpreting qualitative data. Analyzing qualitative data requires understanding how to make sense of text and image so that you can form answer to your research question. In this chapter, you will learn about the 6 steps involved in analyzing and interpreting qualitative data. What is it? Preparing and organizing the data, exploring and coding the database, describing findings and forming them, representing and reporting findings, interpreting and meaning of the findings, and validation the accuracy of the findings. By the end of this chapter, what you should be able to: first, identify the 6 steps in the process of analyzing and interpreting qualitative data. Second, describe how to prepare and organize the data for analysis. Third, describe how to explore and code the data. Fourth, use code to build description and themes. Fifth, construct a representation and reporting of qualitative findings. Sixth, make an interpretation of the qualitative findings. And the last is advanced validation for the accuracy of your findings. What are the 6 steps in analyzing and interpreting qualitative data? Okay, you can visualize the first major steps in this process by examining the bottom-up approach to analysis in the figure. As shown in the figure, qualitative researchers collect data and then prepare it for data analysis. This analysis initially consists of developing a general sense of the data, and then coding description and themes about the central phenomenon. Let's look at some of the features of this process in more detail. How do you prepare and organize the data for analysis? 1. Organize data. With a sizable amount of data, the transcribing of organizing of information requires a system of organization, which could take several forms, such as developing a metric or a table of sources that can be used to help organize the material. And you can organizing the material by type: all interviews, all observations, all documents, and all photographs or other visual materials. As an alternative, you might consider organizing the material by participant, site, location, or some combination of these approaches. And you can keeping duplicate copies of all forms of data. And the second is transcript data. Transcription is process of converting audio tape recordings or file notes into text data. Here are a few more guidelines to facilitate transcription. 1. Create 2-inch margins on each side on the text document so that you can jot down notes and margins during data analysis. And the second is leave extra space on the page between the interviewer's comments and the interviewee's comment. This enables to distinguish clearly between speakers during data analysis. And the third is highlight or mark in some way the question asked by the interviewer. You will not analyze your question, but identifying them clearly indicates where one question ends and another begins. Often, you will analyze all answer to a single question. The fourth is use complete, detailed, ordered, and content information about the interview or observational seasons. Examine interview and observational protocols to see the type of content to be included in a transcription. And the fifth is transcript all words and type the word like pause to indicate when the interviewees take a lengthy break in their comment, and this pause may provide useful information about times when interviewees cannot or will not respond to a question. And you can also record other action occurring during the interview. For example, I love when the interview laughs, telephone rings to indicate a phone call that interrupt this interview or inaudible. Mark when the transcriptionist cannot determine what is being said, and a general approach transcribing all words will provide data that captures the detail of an interview. And the third point is analyzed by hand or computer. With its popularity of computers, the researchers have a choice about whether to hand analyze data or to use the computer. The hand analysis of qualitative data means that researchers read the data, mark by hand, and divide it into parts. And traditionally, analyzing text data involves using color coding to make part of the text or cutting the pasting text sentences onto cards. Some qualitative researchers like to hand analyze all the data. A hand analysis may be preferred when you first are analyzing a small database and can easily keep track of its files and locate text passage. And second, are not comfortable using computer or have not learned a qualitative computer software program. And the third is want to be close to the data and have a hands-on feel for it without the institution of a machine. And the last is have the time to commit to a hand analysis since it is a labor-intensive activity to manually sort, organize, and locate words in the text database. And next, you can use a computer program when you are analyzing a large database and need to organize and keep track of intensive information, or adequately trained in using the program and are portable using computers, have resources to purchase a program or can locate one to use. And last, need a close inspection of every word and sentence to capture specific quotes or meaning of messages. Use of qualitative computer programs. Qualitative computer programs do not analyze the data for you. However, they do provide several convenient features that facilitate your data analysis. A qualitative data analysis computer program is a program that stores data, organizes your data, and able to assign labels or code to your data, and facilitate searching through your data and locating specific text or word. How do you explore and code the data? After you have organized and transcribed your data and decided whether to hand or computer analyze, it is time to begin data analysis. It consists of exploring the data and developing code as first steps in analysis. And the first you can do is explore the general sense of the data. The first step in data analysis to explore the data. A preliminary exploratory analysis in qualitative research consists of exploring the data to obtain a general sense of the data, memorizing ideas, thinking about the organization of the data, and considering whether you need more data. And the next is coded data. The future process of analyzing text or image in qualitative research begins when you code the data. Coding is the process of segmenting and labeling text to form description and route them in the data. Although there are no set guidelines for coding data, some general procedures exist. And the next is, how do you use codes to build description and themes? Thinking about broad themes and energy from my data. In a qualitative research study, you need to analyze the data to form answer to your research question. This process involves examining the data in detail to describe what you learned and developing themes or broad categories of ideas from the data, describing and developing themes from the data. Consists of answering the major research question and forming an in-depth understanding of the central phenomenon through description and thematic development. Not all qualitative projects include both description and themes, but all studies include at least themes. Beginning with description, we can explore what it attempts to accomplish, how you might use it, and how it appears in a research report. How do you represent and reporting finding? After you code the data, analyze it for description and themes, layer and include themes, and report findings to your research question. This calls for displaying findings in tables and figures and constructing a narrative to explain what you have found and respond in your research question. And representing findings, qualitative researchers often display their findings visually by Miles and Haberman in 1998 by using figures or picture they augment the discussion. Different way to display data are listed here. 1. Create a comparison table. Second, develop a hierarchical tree diagram. Third, present figures. Fifth, develop a demographic table. And now we are going to the reporting findings. The primary form for representing and reporting findings in qualitative research, it is narrative discussion. A narrative discussion is written passage in a qualitative study in which authors summarize in detail the finding from their data analysis. Empowered become advocates become involved during the research. Your decision about which forms to use depend on the purpose of your research and the type of data you have analyzed for your findings. Consider also the narrative elements that go into a report of your findings as you make multiple passes through your database. Looking for description and then consider these useful hints, including dialogue that provides support for them. For example, in study about recording disabilities or for middle school students, use metaphors and analogies, report quotes from interview data or from observation of individuals, report multiple perspective and contrary evidence. Write in vivid detail and specify tension and contradiction in individual experience. And the next is, how do you interpret findings? Interpretation involves making sense of the data or the lesson learned. They described by Lincoln and Guba in 1985. Interpretation in qualitative research means that the researchers step back and form some large meaning about the phenomenon based on personal views, comparison with past studies, or both. Qualitative research is interpretive research, and you will need to make sense of the findings. You will find this interpretation in the final section of the study under headings such as discussion, conclusions, interpretation, or implications. And this section includes a review of the major findings and how the research questions were answered. And the second is personal reflection of the researchers about the meaning of the data. And the third is personal views compared construct with the literature. And the fourth is limitation of the study. And the fifth is, or the last is, suggestion for future research. How do you validate the accuracy of your findings? Throughout the process of data collection and analysis, you need to make sure that your findings and interpretation are accurate. Our attention here will be on three primary forms typically used by qualitative researchers: triangulation, member checking, and auditing. Qualitative inquiries triangulate among different data sources to exchange the accuracy of the study. And researchers also check their findings with participants in the study to determine if their findings are accurate. The last is, researchers may also ask the person outside the project to conduct thorough review of the study and report back in writing the strength and weakness of the project. It is the process of conducting an external audit. The researcher hires or obtains the service an individual outside of the study to review different aspects of the research. And the last is key ideas in the chapter. The sixth step in the process of analyzing and interpreting qualitative data, there are six interrelated steps involved in qualitative data analysis and interpretation. Researchers need to prepare on and organize the data for analysis. 1. Prepare and organize the data for analysis. 2nd. Explore decode the data. 3rd. Coding the view, description, and themes. 4th. Represent and report qualitative findings. 5th. Interpret the findings. And the last is validate the accuracy of the findings. I think that's all that I can inform to you all. I am really sorry for every mistake and thank you very much for your attention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.